Welcome to the CommVault channel. In this video, we will discuss CommVault Full System Restore. Please like, share, comment or suggest. Subscribe for more videos, and you can follow us on Instagram. In a full system restore, you can recover the operating system and the client-server data. Please note, do not perform a full system restore on a live computer. Doing so, the existing operating system data and user data will be overwritten. You can restore file system or system state, or both of them during full system restore. Please note, by default, the CommVault files and registry entries are excluded from the recovery operation. For a full system restore, if you have to rebuild the Windows operating system, then we have cataloged few points which we feel are important to consider. Please go through them, and please visit vendor's website for more up-to-date information. Please go through few of the pre-checks that we have cataloged. Please visit vendor's website for more up-to-date information. Before we start the restore, let's check the backup job history for available backups that we can use for recovery. From the CommVault browser, navigate to Client Computers. Expand Client Server. Expand File System. You can view the job history from the default backup set as well. Right-click on the file system. View Backup History. Select the required options, and click OK. Please check the job status, and it should show completed. Review the backup job start time and end time. Make a note of end time as is, if you are planning for a point-in-time recovery. Consider size of backup, in case you need to arrange for storage, for a dissimilar hardware recovery. Let's start the full system restore. We recommend not to do job-level browse and recovery for full system recovery. Right-click on the backup set. All tasks. Select Browse and Restore. You can use latest backup, or a time range, which in other words is point-in-time recovery. If you select time range, then input the backup end time as is, in the end time here. We will proceed with latest backup. Click View Content. Select Backup Set, to select system state and all the drives. You can also view the disk size for all the drives. Click Recover All Selected. Restore options for all selected items. Use this window to control how the specified data has to be restored. Restore ACLs only. If selected, the back-to access control lists will be applied to files that have been restored without their ACLs. If this option is not selected, then ACLs of the parent directory will be applied to the restored data. Restore data only. If selected, the files will be restored without their original access control lists. Files and folders will inherit the permissions of their parent folder or drive. Restore both data and ACLs. If selected, data will be restored with its original access control lists. Unconditionally overwrite only if target is a data archive or stub. If selected, the stub will be unconditionally overwritten during restore. Overwrite files. Overwrite a file in backup is newer. This option will overwrite the existing file with the file that was backed up, provided the backed file is newer than the existing file. Also, if files, or directories, whose names are different from those in the restore path are restored. Unconditional overwrite. If selected, then the restored data is unconditionally written to the destination location. Do not select Unconditional Overwrite option if the hardware of the destination server is drastically different than the hardware of the source server. Restore only if target exists. If selected, it will only restore files that currently exist in the restore path. Files that exist on the media, but not in the restore location will not be restored. Recreate mount points. This option allows for the creation of mount points. Restore option for sys volume. If restoring on a domain controller, select one from the list. Select the primary option when you are restoring for a standalone domain controller, or the first domain controller restored in the network. Select the non-authoritative option to restore the domain controller without replicating any changes to the other domain controllers on the network. Select the authoritative option to restore the domain controller and also replicate any changes to the other domain controllers on the network. You must run the ntdsutil to replicate the changes to the other domain controllers. Allow authoritative for cluster database. If restoring a cluster on Windows Server 2008 and later, select one from the list. Authoritative, or non-authoritative. Restore destination. Destination client displays the name of the server to which the selected data will be restored. By default, data is restored to the same server from which it was backed up. To change the destination server, select one from the list. The list shows clients configured in the COM cell, and with operating systems that support the cross-platform restore operation from this client. Number of streams. It is the number of simultaneous data streams to use for the restore job. Use multiple nodes. This option is used to specify whether multiple nodes will be used for the restore job. Use this option only when you want to perform restores to distributed or network file systems such as NFS and CIFS, mounted across multiple machines. Restore to same folder. Restore operation will restore data to the same path from which it was backed up in the destination server. Specify destination path. If you already know, then enter the path on the destination server to which the data will be restored. If the specified path does not exist, it will be created during the restore process. Click Browse. Select a path for the destination folder, and click OK. You can also enter the UNC path of a shared drive. Preserve source paths. Preserve in levels from end of the source path. Select number of levels at the end of the source path of the selected data. Remove in levels from beginning of the source path. Select this option to remove the specified number of levels from the beginning of the source path of the selected data. Impersonate user. Select this option when you are restoring to a UNC path. Enter the username and password for the user account, which has permissions to create files in the destination folder. Click Advanced. General tab. Automatically detect regular expressions. If selected, the system will recognize as supported regular expressions, in other words wildcards, in the specified source path. This does not apply to filter paths. Skip errors and continue. If enabled, restore jobs continue when media errors are encountered during the restore. This option also provides an output file that lists the full path names of the files that failed to restore. Use exact index. This option enables you to use the index associated with the backup operation performed at a specific time, or the latest index. By default, the system uses the index associated with the most recent backup operation when you browse the data. Cross-hardware restore. Select this option when you are performing the cross-hardware restore of the system state. During the system state restore, the system-protected files are always overwritten. If you are performing the cross-hardware restore, the drivers on the destination server may be different than the drivers on the source server. In such scenario, it is recommended to not overwrite any data under drivers folder. Validate only. Validation verifies that the backup data in the media agent is intact and usable for restores. This feature performs a quick check by comparing the data size received for each file and the total size of the file during the backup operation. If the two sizes do not match, the validation process fails the restore operation. This feature enables us to identify data loss issues and errors on the media agent before an actual restore operation starts. Startup tab. Use default priority. The default restore job priority is 66. Change priority. Select this option to modify the priority of a job between 0, which is highest priority, and 999 being the lowest priority. Startup in suspended state. Select this option to start the job in a suspended state. This job cannot run until the job is manually resumed in the job controller. PrePost Tab. Pre-recovery command. You can enter the path of the process to run before the restore. Use the Browse button to search for and select the file or path. If there are spaces in the name or path, use quotation mark at the beginning and at the end of the path. Post-recovery command. You can enter the path of the process to run after the restore. Use the Browse button to search for and select the file or path. If there are spaces in the name or path, use quotation mark at the beginning and at the end of the path. Run post-restore process for all attempts. Select this option to run the process for all attempts to run the phase, including situations where the job phase is interrupted, suspended, or failed. PrePost impersonation. Use local system account. Normally, the local system account has permissions to access all the data on the local computer. Impersonate user. Enter the user account which has permission to execute the desired commands. Copy Precedents tab. Restore from Copy Precedents. When selected, the system retrieves the data from the storage policy copy, with the specified copy precedence number. If the data was pruned from the primary copy, the system automatically retrieves the data from the other copies of the storage policy, starting with the copy with the lowest copy precedence, and proceeding through the copies with higher copy precedence. The table displays the storage policy, and the storage policy copies corresponding to the copy precedence number. You can change the copy precedence from here. It's worth to note this. Data Path tab. You can select alternate data path for the restore or recovery operation. You can specify the media agent, library, drive pool, and drive from which the restore operation must be performed. Use proxy. Use this option when you want to restore using a proxy server. The proxy server will be used to perform the restore operation. Use iSCSI server. Use this option when you want to restore using iSCSI server. Paths or Filters tab. Modify paths or filters. Filter item or exclude item. You can add a folder, or path, or drive from the restore. Click Add to exclude manually the path of data to be restored. Please note, you cannot filter the system state during the restore operation. You can also use wildcard characters within this pane to specify file name patterns that you want to exclude from the restore. There are only few wildcards supported. Source item displays the data that is to be restored. Click the Add button to type the path of the data to be restored. Job Retry tab. Enable total running time. You can specify the maximum elapsed time, in hours and minutes, from the time that the job has started. When the specified elapsed time is reached, if the job is in the running state, it will continue, but if the job is not in the running state, then the job manager will kill the job. Kill running jobs when total running time expires. Use this option to kill the job when the specified total running time has elapsed, even if it is in running state. Enable number of retries. This is the number of times that the job manager will attempt to restart the job. Once the maximum number of retry attempts has been reached, if the job has still not restarted successfully, job manager will kill the job. Please note that this job-based setting will not be valid if restartability has been turned off in the Job Management Control panel. Map tab. You can specify the restore of individual files to a specified destination using an external map file. Use map file. The map file provides the list of files to be restored, and the destination to which the files are to be restored. Map file path. Use the Browse button to browse and select the appropriate map file. Restore unmapped files. Select the option to restore the unmapped files that were selected for restore to the specified restore destination. Rename all restore files with suffix. Specifies to restore the file with a suffix when the file name is already available in the destination folder. For example, if you are restoring a file with the name program.txt, and the file is already available in the destination folder, then the file is restored as program_suffix.txt. Please note, for Windows platforms, this suffix is appended to the file name, before the file extension, and for Unix or Macintosh platforms, the suffix is appended after the extension. Browse Options tab. Restore deleted items. If enabled, the restore operation will include data that was secured during all backup operations, including deleted items. Specify time range. Specifies to restore data within a specified time zone and time threshold. Alert tab. You can add an alert for this restore job. Once done, click OK. Job Initiation tab. You can either start the restore job immediately, or schedule it for later. Once done, click OK to start the restore. On the warning window, click Compare to make sure the CommVault service pack match between source and destination server. Both servers have same service pack levels. Click Yes on the warning window. You should see the restore job in the job controller. You can double-click the job for details, or right-click on the job and click Details. Progress tab should show the job progress. General tab will give the info related to restore job start time, total number of files to be restored, source server, destination server, etc. Once the data transfer start, you would see more info, like currently restoring file or folder, average restore throughput, skipped count, failed count, number of files restored, etc. Restore completed successfully, and to finish applying the changes, the server has to be rebooted. Click Yes to automatically reboot the server, and No to manually reboot the server. Events show one error: reboot of client server is required. Switch to the client server, and check if the reboot is in progress. Once client server rebooted successfully, log on to the server and check if it's all okay. Please go through few post-recovery notes. Do visit vendor's website for more up-to-date information. We will end this video here. Please stay tuned for more videos by subscribing to our channel, if not already done. Do subscribe for more videos. Thank you.